Tori Kelly had a few live streams on Twitch and she is so funny. OMG. If Tori ever decides to do a 12-hour live stream, I am so down. I'm so watching. Anyways, let's get started talking about live stream concerts. What's up, everybody? My name is Shantoria. Welcome to the video, and I pray you all are doing well. The 2020 pandemic has changed the way society is consuming entertainment and has shaken up the industry, especially with the advancements of technology forcing a shift in operations. Artists had no choice but to delay tours and album releases and find new ways to stay connected with fans, and what better way than via the internet? Going live on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch. You got options here, people. TikTok specifically has grown popular during this time and has affected not just the length, but also which songs artists are choosing to release in hopes that the sound goes viral. Bring that to today when we're dealing with high inflation affecting not just our grocery bill, but also the price of concert tickets. And I feel that the pricing of tickets were already pretty steep even before the pandemic, depending on who you were trying to go see. Now with dynamic pricing, you could be paying $1,000 for each ticket, depending on the demand for the show. The whole Ticketmaster situation with Taylor Swift was insane, and what's even crazier is that at one of her concerts, the crowd got so hyped that they caused an earthquake. I wonder what song she was performing, because you would expect this to happen at a rap concert. But hey, T-Swift get crunk too, I guess. Quarantine and inflation are just two other reasons that I feel artists will soon opt to do a live stream concert. But before I get into my other reasons, let's get some background on the rise of live streaming itself. Live streaming, aka live video streaming or live video broadcasting, was developed in the early 1990s and is considered a form of broadcasting with media intended for the reception by the general public on a global scale. On June 24th, 1993, the band Severe Tire Damage were performing, and engineers from Xerox PARC in California wanted to try out some new tech that allowed the show to be viewed in many far countries like Australia. It was broadcasted over a niche network called M-Bone Multicast Backbone and is considered the first instance of live streaming. The Rolling Stones were considered the first well-known band to broadcast via the internet in 1994. Though, I will say Elvis Presley, despite the internet not being invented yet, was the first artist to have his concert live streamed globally. And I'm referring to his live concert, Aloha from Hawaii, which was viewed in over 40 countries by an audience of 1.5 billion. Elvis is documented as the first solo artist to have a live concert broadcasted via satellite, and I learned this through watching I learned this at the end of watching the 2022 Elvis biopic, and I had to look this up for myself because 1.5 billion is insane, and it sucks that his management was the reason why he couldn't have traveled the world and actually performed. And y'all, management, the talk about management, good management for artists is a video all in itself. The first media player capable of live streaming was called Real Player, developed by Real Network in 1995, and later that year broadcasted the first public live stream, being a baseball game between the Yankees and the Mariners. The company also launched one of the first programs to commercialize live video streaming in 1997 called Real Video. Excited Home Network and the Democratic leadership produced the first presidential webcast on November 8, 1999 at George Washington University. More than 50,000 questions were submitted and a wide range of issues were discussed. In the early days of YouTube, they hosted the first live event in 2008, which streamed from San Francisco and Tokyo at the same time. However, YouTube only occasionally had live broadcasts. There was no guidelines or step-by-step process on what to do before broadcasting, and so the possibilities of live streaming had yet to be explored and was a slow burn into the mainstream media. Until Justin TV, a website that had a small network of channels able to broadcast to an unlimited number of people. Justin TV rebranded itself as Twitch in 2011 and was the place for live gaming, and gained more than 45 million views per month in just 2 years. YouTube realized what they were missing out on and decided to have live streaming available for all of its users in 2013. In 2014, Restream allowed creators to broadcast their streams to multiple platforms at the same time. The company then releases Restream Studio in 2020, which allows users to multi-stream directly from their browsers. Users can also invite guests on stream and read and reply to viewers' messages from different platforms in one place. The services are allowed on Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, X, LinkedIn, and more. And speaking of social media platforms, Twitter acquired Periscope in 2015. In the following year, Facebook and Instagram introduced their own live features, and live streaming began to take off. Okay, so tacky. The heavy hitters in the streaming world is Twitch and YouTube, and as both companies continue to improve their platforms, streaming has become a more viable option as not just a career, but also just another stream of income. Live streaming is one of the most prominent forms of marketing, communication, and entertainment. According to Grand View Research, the global streaming market is expected to grow more than $180 billion by 2027. More companies have created their own live streaming platforms, but for the sake of not going too deep into the gaming world, I'm going to cut it here. But if you'd like to read any of the articles that I have researched for this video, they will be in the description. Now let's see how this new method of entertainment has affected the way we consume live music. Madison Beer, who I am a huge fan of, did a live stream concert called the Life Support Virtual Concert Experience. No, I'm not talking about that freaky AI looking thing. That was horrifying. I'm talking about the one that she actually did where she was actually physically there performing, singing the songs. The show was pre-filmed and broadcasted in 5 different countries. Fans were able to comment their reactions in real time. Madison sang her full album for the show and thought doing the performance would help people take her more serious as an artist. The concert experience was shot at the Beehive in Los Angeles, California. The company has rehearsal and live performance spaces and specializes in putting together shows. Danny Vitale, who is a creative director, choreographer, and director, directed the project. She was also the creative director for Madison's Dangerous music video and choreographed the live support tour. Danny is also known as a former backup dancer for Demi Lovato, and as many times as I watched Demi's documentary, Simply Complicated, and whatever other ones that she has made, I feel like I should remember her, but maybe if I actually rewatch it, maybe I will remember her. But that's crazy. That's insane. I mean, it's crazy insane. I say that. I mean, that is cool to learn. That's a cool fact to learn. Scott Myrick, who is a choreographer, was in charge of stage and movement as well as helping Danny with whatever she needed. I don't know if he was co-director because they did not specify. However, what I do know is that Scott is also known for dancing with Katy Perry, so Madison made sure to hire some veterans, okay? What I did not expect to learn was that Madison also filmed her live performance of Boy Shit for the late night show Jimmy Kimmel Live in one of the Beehive studios. I also would love to give a quick shout out to my fellow 99 baby. She is about to release her sophomore album, Silence Between Songs, which is set to release September 15th, just a few days before my birthday. So when it comes out, y'all, go and be sure to stream it. She already has 5 singles released for the album already. My favorite one is Spinnin', favorite one so far at least. My favorite one so far is Spinnin'. So go be sure to give it a listen. Also, Olivia Rodrigo, September 8th, Guts. Be sure to stream that too. Y'all, I'm just giving shout outs everywhere. Go shout out to Tori Kelly. She just released her EP Tori. I love Shelter. And also she did Cut with Timbaland. That is an artist's dream for me, to be able to work with Timbaland. I love Timbaland. I also love Aaliyah. It just makes sense. Oh, also, hello, Ariana Grande. She is about to release her 10-year anniversary, the deluxe version of Yours Truly. And it's a live album. I love live albums. Go listen. Selena Gomez, single soon, y'all. I'm just hyping everybody up right now. Go stream. I love that there has been a lot of new music recently. And, as a music lover, I'm on cloud 9. The next artist who I want to talk about is Miss Camila Cabello. Familia Welcome to the Family was an immersive music experience broadcasted through TikTok and was a very colorful and high-tech show. It was the first TikTok live concert and live performance of her new songs. Camila's album Familia will be releasing the following day. The show was put together by Silent Partners and XR Studios, who worked with Camila's creative director Charlotte Rutherford, creating a virtual environment pulling inspiration from Camila's Latin heritage, the films of Pedro Almodovar and Alice in Wonderland, and 40s and 50s musicals. Rutherford is an English director, photographer, and script editor. I'm guessing she creatively directed Camila's music video for Psycho Freak and Hasta los Dentes because Rutherford's art style is very much present there. Both performances were great and show the artistic possibilities of these type of concerts. Mandolin is a live stream platform that launched its venue and promotion network, aiming to provide artist camps access to a list of U.S. venues and offering a turnkey experience for hosting live stream concerts. They also cover the cost and will often receive a percentage or split the profits with the venue and artist. The pandemic really has aided in live streaming becoming a new form of leisure, and I honestly cannot recall prior to this lockdown happening how often artists actually release live performance videos, but now I come to expect it, whether it is on Genius, NPR Tiny Desk, a radio station, talk show, Vivo, I expect it. That's so many. Oh my gosh. And like I stated at the beginning of the video, artists were forced to find new ways, creative ways to stay connected with fans and step into the shoes of social media influencer in terms of relatability. And hopefully that relatability turns into concert ticket sales because y'all, it has been wild since 2021. So many artists have been or are currently on tour, and I briefly mentioned ticket pricing at the beginning of this video, but I'm going to circle back to it because y'all, it is so ridiculous. ExpressVPN did a study revealing a significant spike in the average prices of concert tickets. For big name artists, tickets went up by 40% in the past 5 years. As an attempt to not exclude some fans from attending, many artists and promoters opt for tier pricing. As far as independent artists, prices have stayed relatively the same. As a person who wishes that they could go to multiple concerts a year, I would not mind paying a high price for a ticket if the artist is known to put on a great show. Now, that is very dependent on where the seats are at, because I am not paying $650 for a single ticket to sit in section 135, the section furthest from the stage. And I'm sure in person the seat is probably not that bad, but people like to record things nowadays, and you know, that's just not gonna fly for memories. It's like it looks further away in the phone, but it's closer in person, you know? And if there were no other available seats, then it comes down to how badly I would want to go to the show. Then I would either buy the ticket or just make a whole trip out of it and go to a different tour date. More artists are investing in stage production, visual effects, and whatever else to be able to have a standout show, making touring a money pit if not budgeted correctly. These last few reasons have to do with the concert goer experience and why I feel some may prefer a live streamed concert. Y'all, concerts are loud. Protecting our ears from consistent exposure to loud noises is very important because once those hairs are gone, they are not going to grow back. Mike the Snare did a great video about this, and I recommend that you check it out if you're interested in learning more. The last concert I went to was the Sweetener tour, and my mom had gotten us seats in the rafters near the speakers. And y'all, when I tell you, my hearing has not been the same since. My left ear, it's so sensitive to sound. If you roll down one window in the car, I feel all the ear pressure, and it's so irritating. Oh my gosh. And and this was not my first concert experience either. I went to 2 other concerts. The first one I went to was the Honeymoon tour, and it was for my 16th birthday. It was so fun. I could not hear afterwards. It was great. I had such a great time. Obviously, my hearing came back. And the other one I went to was the Revival tour, Selena Gomez. I was able to hear myself afterwards, but that doesn't mean it wasn't still loud. I am visually impaired. I have been wearing glasses since I was in second grade. I also have astigmatism. The best way I can describe it for y'all who don't have astigmatism is imagine driving down the freeway or the highway at night and in the lights and all the bright lights, and it just looks brighter to me and it's horrible. Imagine going to a concert. And then I can't even imagine how bad it is for people who have epilepsy. Oh my gosh. Oh, that must be horrible. And I know live stream concerts doesn't mean no flashing lights, but at least, if there are flashing lights about to come on screen, at least a warning can be put on the screen for y'all to be able to look away. And maybe there'll be like a little clicking noise for y'all to be able to, as a signal for y'all to be able to turn your head back and actually watch the show. Concert safety when it comes down to terror attacks, people throwing things on stage or at the artists, and then which is wild. And then all of you guys who buy pit tickets having to be packed in like sardines and having to look out not just for yourself but your fellow neighbor to make sure none of y'all pass out. Y'all, I don't see how none of y'all do that. I am so claustrophobic. I would be having a whole panic attack. And live stream concerts are the quote unquote safer option depending on how you're looking at it. Thank you to that one person in the back who laughed. And live stream concerts are so much cheaper than going on tour. And I'm sure many artists can actually get sponsors to help pay for it. And they're going to have to get very creative on how they're doing these ad placements or placements so that it's not distracting or takes away from the lively concert experience when people are viewing, when they're watching, when it's live in this broadcast. I love the creative possibilities of doing a complete online concert. There are so many gorgeous angles and shots you wouldn't be able to get in a regular concert setting because you would have to think about how the crowd is experiencing the performance. Even if it was a smaller venue, to have some fans there for a more lively feel, you still don't want it to be a sensory overload. To me, Camila's TikTok performance was almost that. Madison's was more focused on the camera angles, lighting effects, and her outfits were pretty cute too. What I conclude may happen is that artists may opt to live stream a show or a few shows, even charging access to the live stream concert, and have a lobby where the fans can purchase merchandise that you would see in the physical venue. You know how there's merchandise that you can buy at the venue versus online if you do or don't go to the concert. I think what also would be cool is that if fans who have bought a live stream ticket, depending on how close or far they are from the venue, they can actually go there and physically purchase merchandise. Of course, they would have to show a barcode to confirm that they have bought tickets for the online show. So I think that's a cool option. Even doing pop-ups, if they did a completely virtual online concert, having pop-ups in different locations so fans can go physically purchase items and then wear it for the live stream show. That would be probably so cool. Streaming is also a great option for those who are not able to buy tickets to the venue or cannot go for whatever reason and can still tune in online. Clearly, I've thought about this a lot because, like I have shared, I have sensitive eyesight, and I think there's so much creative possibilities with live stream concerts, and it also helps with, like I said, tour costs. And the tour doesn't have to be long if artists do not like touring for long periods of time. You can do a tour and then have a live stream concert. And what's awesome is that the tour and the live stream concert can be different. It could be a little bit of a different show just to feel refreshing. Not like a different album. Not like a different album or a set list, but like just a different look to it. Just a different look to it, just so it can feel fresh and new. To experience hearing your favorite songs live is a treat for both fans and artists. I just can't imagine how draining it is for the whole crew, not just the artists having to do 70 plus shows in different time zones almost every night, which is why I suggest doing a shorter tour and doing a visually different virtual concert, just so that it can be a little bit refreshing and hopefully not too heavy on the mental and emotional states that they go through, because a lot of artists do talk about how it is draining and it is an emotional toll on them to be on the road for so long. which is why this could be a virtual concert be a better option for them. And like I said, it's a creative experience, a creative expression. It could be just as fun, at least I feel like, because it is still a live show or pre-recorded like how Madison Beer did.
I love to tour.
And I don't want my shows to have flashing lights because that's just too much to me. And so I will have to come up with a creative way to build the mood and set the tone for the song. So if any of you guys got some ideas, you know, let a girl know in the comments. Also, for those who have light sensitivity, if you have gone to a concert, tell me what your experience is like in the comments, because I'm so curious. You know, I actually, honestly, I look away. This is what I do. I cover my eyes and like, I try to make sure to see if it's gone. Like I peek through a little bit just to see if it's still going. But for now, I think we will see what we're seeing now. A lot of live performance videos and mostly live stream concerts being for music festivals. So there you go. Oh, well, music festivals and live what is it, award shows too, even award shows. But before I end this video, I would like to ask you guys one more question. Have you seen Tori Kelly's Christmas special? It was awesome. It was great. It was also live streamed on YouTube. And speaking of Christmas, watch this video right here. No, watch this video right here about Christmas albums. About my holiday albums. It's a great video. You'll like it. Please watch it. And I pray you all have a blessed rest of your day and have an awesome rest of your week. Peace out.